Hi, my name is Sarah Rae. Welcome back to my channel. You guys, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I wanted to sit down and talk to you about what I've been going through lately. I originally was going to make a video about like the ugly side of relationships and having IBD. But I'm going to push that to next week. Before I go further, I want to put a trigger warning on this video. I'm going to talk about depression, anxiety, ODing, and SA. I'll put what SA means somewhere on the screen. I'm just going to tell you what I've been going through. I keep it honest on this channel, and you know, sometimes talking about it out loud helps you, understand what you're going through, or helps you take back the narrative. So, with that said, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of when I upload. Hopefully you can relate to some parts of this video. If you can, and you feel alright to leave a comment about your struggles, I'd love to read them. If not, that is more than okay. Just you watching this video is more than enough for me. So let's start the conversation. First things first, I want to talk about depression. Having depression is hard. I mean, it kicks you so hard that you fall into a void of darkness that you can't get out of. Like somebody dropped you in the middle of the sea and you fall to the depths of the ocean and you can't get out. And the things that are going wrong, you feel like you can't talk about it because people think you're complaining. Or this, I hate this one. People think, oh, you're always going through that. Like, yeah, that was the same as yesterday. And they don't want to hear it. Again. Or you're complaining. People think you're complaining. Or somebody will tell you, be happy with what you have because people have it worse. That's quieting your voice. You have every right to talk about what you're going through. But sometimes it's really hard to speak out. Because you're afraid. And hand in hand with depression goes anxiety. With anxiety, the best way I can describe it is 2 words. I can't. When you're having a anxiety attack, you feel like you just can't. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't handle it, I can't. I can't do this, I can't do that, just stop. you're shaking, you're almost hyperventilating. You're crying, it's just, out of your control. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story and how depression, anxiety, and PTSD have influenced my life. When I was younger, so 10 to 19, I've been sick my whole life, including now. I'm still always at the hospital, always at the doctor's office. But up till 19, I just handled it head on. I went through the motions. I didn't stop to think about it. I just did what I had to do, and that was it. I did what I had to do. Then we moved to North Carolina. I wasn't excited about it because I'm a New York girl through and through. I'm a Yankee. I wasn't excited. And I did it because I love my mom. And that's why I'm still here today. When we moved to North Carolina, kind of hard to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it because I want to take back the narrative. I want to be not open about it, but I want to be in control of it. I was SA by a cousin of mine for 3 months. I've blamed myself for so long. I still do. Like, why wasn't I strong enough to stop it? I feel shame. Guilt. I feel like unworthy and gross. And then now it's hard for me to go outside because I feel like something's going to happen again and I'm not going to be strong enough to stop it, or I'm going to run into him and not know what to do, how to handle it. I have nightmares of the very first night that it happened. I get constant reminders, and that puts me in an anxiety attack. the nightmares I wake up from and I can't fall back asleep. It hurts still to this day, and it was 7 years ago. But continuing to blame yourself lets him have control over you. I know that. But it's so hard to not blame yourself. After that situation, I'm not going to go into details what exactly happened and how it went down, just that he manipulated me, used me, and so many other things. It was after that I got depressed. My whole life I've been afraid of abandonment. When I was younger, my dad left. And when we would end up seeing him again when I was 11, he, after a year of, he drank a lot, like a lot, and his vice was gin. Nasty. He would end up choosing the alcohol over his kids, and he left. And I remember the day he left because I walked to get on the school bus and he was sitting in his truck, and I had to get on the bus watching and knowing my dad was leaving and not coming back. I got on the bus and I watched him leave and drive in the opposite direction. But it was hard on my brother because it was his birthday, so he had to wake up and know that dad left and he wasn't coming back. So I was always afraid that something would happen like that to me. So I'm very afraid of abandonment, which made relationships really hard for me. I ended up meeting somebody who I dated for 3 years. Turns out they were a master manipulator. An abuser, like mentally, and he kept me from my family. And I know, I'll tell you honestly, keep it honest on this channel, I'm not the easiest person to be in a relationship with. I know that. And so I wasn't a pleasant person. So we had fights and stuff. But he was much worse. He'd keep me from my family. He would lie. He would say he paid the bills, but then we'd get a bill and it's not paid. because he didn't pay the rent, we ended up having our animals taken away multiple times, and I had no idea about it because I took his word to heart. I believe people. I used to anyway. After my second OD, he was in control of my medicine. After we broke up, I would find out later from my cousin that he was giving me more meds than I was supposed to, and said that it was because I was a bitch and I deserved it. Okay. That's cool. So after we broke up, I had to go through withdrawals, which was not fun. When you have BPD, you tend to mimic other people. So I dressed a lot like this person. So a lot of flannels. After that, I just go in and out of depression. Like, I was sick all the time, and I felt like I couldn't contribute to society. Every time I was in the hospital, I just felt like the world was moving on, my life was moving on, and I was stuck. I was watching my world move, and I was glued to the floor in one spot. I'd cry myself to sleep. I have poetry that is more on the dark side. It got to the point where I thought about harming myself pretty much every day. I was that down. And I was working hard at my job. And then I went for disability, and it took a year and a half to get. In that year and a half, you can't be working, which made me feel bad and felt worse. I got denied multiple times. I felt like giving up. Then it didn't help that I made a video about this. And the doctor told me that, you know, this is how I'm gonna be. That there's nothing they could do. So you're telling me I'm gonna be in pain for the rest of my life, and there's nothing they can do about it. The nausea, throwing up, that's it. I'm gonna have that for the rest of my life. I understand I'm gonna have Crohn's for the rest of my life, but You're telling me my pain's gonna be there, this level 8 pain and nausea and vomiting every day for the rest of my life? Thanks, doc. You just made my depression worse. Because you don't want to hear that. You don't. You end up hating yourself. Because of who you are as a person. Like, why are you like this? Why did you have to be like this? Why were you given this set of cards? And then lately, what's been happening lately? March, I didn't exactly tell you what happened. I told you I was in the hospital, but I OD'd on medication and was sent to the hospital and put in a behavioral unit for a while. And the stipulation for me to be let out was to go to group therapy. They're diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder, and so I'm in group therapy, which is helping a lot. They also changed one of my meds, my depression med, which has been helping. And I've been doing really well up until Monday. I went to a pain clinic that I go to, and they filled my prescription, and I have a ketamine infusion coming up. I also take pain meds. They're not like actual like pain medications like hydros or anything. It's called Belbuca. It's a film that goes in your mouth and doesn't slow down your system or anything, because you don't want that with a person with IBD, because I already have a slow system, so that's just going to make things worse. They said they know what happened in March and they don't feel comfortable refilling my pain meds or even me being on the pain meds at all. And I got really upset, and I couldn't understand why. I've never once abused my pain meds, and I've been with them for 4 years, and they know that I've never once abused my pain meds. Their reason is, they said it's not a punishment, but I have to look at it this way. My first attempt at ODing was with Ativan, which is a controlled substance. So is my Belbuca, my pain med. They said, looking at you as a new patient instead of a long-term patient, I'm a high-risk patient, so they can't prescribe it. Because I went to Ativan, they said that they can't take the risk. They don't know that I won't go for my pain meds next, which I would not do, but they don't know that. They understand that I'm saying that, but they can't fully accept it, especially because the government watches pain clinics so heavily. They understood one thing good out of it is they understood how much this med helped me, so they put me on a patch that's just like that film, but it stays on for 7 days, and it's the exact same med, it's just in patch form. I got upset because one, nobody told me something like this could happen, especially my second attempt, when they decided to start watching me, which I didn't even know they'd do that. They could have told me, hey, we're keeping an eye on you. By the way, if you do something again, we're taking away your meds. That would have been nice to tell me. And they said maybe in a year or two, if I'm still on good behavior, I can get my med back. I get their side, I do, but it hurts because I'm working so hard to get my life back together from something I did, which in the end I blame myself for this because I'm the one that took the meds. It's my fault. Again, another thing that I did wrong. And it feels like that's the constant theme. It's just, I don't even know. Feels like everything just swirls around me at one time. And I see everything wrong that I do. And it's easier, my therapist this morning said it's easier to see the bad than it is the good. And that's true, because when I'm upset, that's all I see swirling around me is the bad. And I never have a moment where swirling around me is the good. I can look at an object that means a lot, that is so good. Like, I have a picture of the lead singer of Boston, Tommy DiCarlo. I have a signed picture. I can look at it and say a good thing about it, where I got it, when I got it. I got it for my birthday from my favorite uncle on my dad's side, which is Uncle Bill. It was a great memory, but at the same time, that brings back memories of things that I did wrong while being with them. Like, I used his phone one day and ended up going over his limit and had to give him $80 because I messed up. Things like that, you know? I could think of all the good looking at that photo, but instead all the bad come back. In the end, I'm going to say this to you guys. And I should take my own advice, but I think you guys know the way that goes. You can give advice to somebody, but you never take it yourself. Number 1. I get it. Everyone tells me in my family, except for one person, who thinks I am to blame, which is so great. It's not your fault what happened to me with my cousin. They say it's not my fault. And I get it. Everyone says that. But it's difficult to still believe that, because you sit there and think, oh, well, I wasn't strong enough to stop it. So that shame comes in, that worthlessness, that anger, that self-loathing comes in. But the truth is, it is not your fault. It is them. They forced themselves on you. For me, he would use my family against me. If you don't do this, I'm not helping fix your mom's car, or I'm not helping do this for your family. And we really needed it when we first moved here. It wasn't fair. Because I would listen to what we would need and know how much we needed it. And then he would force himself. So he would force himself on me. Let me clarify, I never consented. It was never like, oh, well, if you do this, your family would get this, and I say, yeah. It would be like, well, you're doing this, so your family gets this. Let's go. And he would grab me, and that would happen. It's not your fault. But the reason I feel like it's my fault is the way it was done. Depression and anxiety it's okay to feel down. It's okay to talk to people. We need to remember that you have a voice. You have every right to use it. Nobody can diminish your voice, like saying no, it's like this, like, no, I feel this way, you can't tell me how I feel, this is how I feel. They can't tell you wrong. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And it's okay to have a therapist. Therapists are wonderful. Having activities to do is wonderful. Music. Going for walks to clear your mind. Go in your car and blast music and scream at the top of your lungs. I sing at the top of my lungs when I'm driving, especially the sad ones. You're worthy of how you feel. And you shouldn't let it hold you back. Whether you get up and put some music on and meditate or sit there and deep breathe, that's better than just laying in bed doing nothing. That's something. Getting up and going for a walk. Just getting out of bed is a step. Start small. Write in journals every day how you feel. I do. Remember, you are beautiful. You do impact the world. Everybody does. Though we might not see it, we do. I have a song for you guys to listen to, and I'm going to end this talk with it. It's a new age classic rock song, and I'll put the lyrics in the description box down below. Or I'll try to find a lyric version of this song. So either it'll be a lyric version or the lyrics will be linked in the description box down below. But what is said in this song is really relatable to somebody with mental health issues. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to leave you guys with this quote. If you live in the past, you're going to be in perpetual depression. And if you live in the future, you are always going to live in anxiety. The only way you are going to know peace is if you live in the present moment. I think I've shared that quote before in a video, but I felt like it needed to be shared again in this video. So, even though it's hard, try not to live in the past and try not to anticipate the future. We need to live in the now. And I know I'm trying to work on it too, but give it a try. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys can relate. And if you want to share your story, I'd love to read them. If you want it to be private, you can send it to my email address in the description box down below. And I hope you guys enjoy the song, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!